Hey, everybody, welcome to our free Cheltenham Festival preview evening. This has come around quickly, hasn't it, Keith?
Well, very quickly, yes. Actually, it's going to be a cracking affair over the next 4 days. I really am looking forward to Cheltenham this year.
Yeah, it's I think the most different Cheltenham we've had in a few years, but yeah, it should be an exciting one. So for those guys who are watching this and are kind of new to our world, let's explain who we're chatting to here. So this is Keith Bond. You are the professional horse racing tipster here at Free Racing Tips. Actually, I'm not going to do the introduction for you. You can introduce yourself, Keith.
Yeah, I've been involved with horse racing for quite a number of years, man and boy, and I've been looking after the tips full time for Free Racing Tips since 2017. I actually founded the company back in 2008, along with my co-presenter today, John Lamerton.
Hello.
And I took a bit of a extended furlough from 2013 to pursue other ventures. Then came back to the fold, and things have actually been building up from there. We've had some good results over the years.
We certainly have, mate. And yeah, you took a little furlough before the rest of us knew what the word furlough even meant.
Exactly, but it wasn't exactly a rest. Like people furlough now, they think that this is their new career. We just sit on the sofa watching TV. I was actually running. Yeah. I was actually running the gluten-free bakery, and I was putting more hours in than ever.
I'll say you were working bloody hard. You weren't just getting free money from the Chancellor, were you?
I've never had a penny free money in my life.
No, and I think we're all about to find out in the next couple of years that there's no such thing as free money from the Chancellor, right? You are. I've described you here as kind of analytical and data-driven. Is that accurate?
It is. I actually do dig deep into every race and look at past trends as well, especially for these big meetings. I look for value, like you said. I see you've got value spotted on there, so I might as well mention I do look for value. I don't. I know that people think I pick every favourite. Well, that's not the case. I do look for the outsiders. If you look at the Little Beauties record over the last year or so, you'll see that we've got quite a few decent priced winners.
Yeah, absolutely. It's often with the tips, people want to know who's going to win. And it's often not about who's going to win the race, but actually where is the value within the race.
Where's the value? And it's not so much, I turn the whole thing on its head. I don't look at what's going to win. I look at what can't win. Then I eliminate those losers, and by process of elimination, what you're left with should be the few horses which actually have a chance in that race.
Exactly. It should be the cream of the crop, shouldn't it?
Exactly.
Cool. So our goal here today, or here tonight, is to help you find those winners. If we can't help you find the winners, what we will help you do is narrow down some of the losers. We're going to go through each of the feature races tonight. Obviously, there's 28 races throughout the festival. We have not got long enough to go through all of them. We don't even know the runners for half of them, do we, Keith?
No, we don't. We've got with Cheltenham, it's 48-hour stage. Some of the big handicaps still have 70-odd runners declared, and they're not going to go with more than 24 on the day. So it's narrowing it down at this stage on some of those races is just totally impossible.
Definitely. So what again, if you guys have got a pad and paper here, our job over the next kind of 45 minutes to an hour is to get you filling that pad and paper with ideas, short lists, things to look at, angles to find value. We're going to go through those feature races, but we're also going to look at some of the key betting markets outside of those feature races, because I know there's a lot of interest there. And we're going to answer as many of your questions as we can. Now, we have printed these off and we've got pages and pages and pages of questions from you. So thank you to absolutely each and every one of you who's submitting a question. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but we are going to kind of get to as many as we possibly can. Now, this, Keith alluded to just now, this is our 13th Cheltenham Festival. This is going to be our lucky 13th, isn't it, Keith?
Well, absolutely. Like I said, I'm totally buzzing this year for Cheltenham, and I'm probably more prepared for it than I have been ever before.
Fantastic. That's good news for all concerned. Many of you will have already flicked through The Horse's Mouth, our 32-page magazine. Now that is the 8th year we've put that magazine together. And again, I know I think I say this every year, Keith, but I think again we've done an absolutely stonking job putting that together. It's we've gone a little bit different this year. We've gone more data driven, which meant we could get the magazine out a little bit earlier. So we've actually, when did we put this together? End of January, was it?
Yeah, at the end of January. Obviously, in a lot of cases, a lot of the runners have gone by the wayside now. So, but the stats in that magazine still stand up, as do the stats which are on the website.
Exactly, and that enables anybody looking at those stats to again narrow down the field. So once the riders and runners are actually known, just apply the trends and statistics, because the trends and stats have not changed. That is still what you need to be looking at. That's still your framework that you need to look at. Now this week is the culmination of, and I've put here 3 months research, but I think
it's not just
3 months. More than that, isn't it? 3
months of prep races, horses which haven't performed, horses which have dropped out, horses which have actually shown more than they were showing. It's 3 months of absolute change, really.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of change, that's probably one of the main questions that people want to know is what difference is it actually going to make? Because, well, other than we are not going to have that famous Cheltenham Roar at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, what difference is it going to make? Are there going to be certain horses that thrive on the sound of the crowd and the noise of the helicopters flying in, flying out? You know, are there others that are actually going to perform better and going to focus more without the distraction of the crowd there?
Absolutely. Some horses actually like to hear that crowd, and they actually run towards it, and the ears prick and tail up, and away they go. Other horses do shy away from that, and they perform better when it is quiet. Totally away from National Hunt for a second. A horse that does perform a lot better when without the crowds there is the sprinter Batash.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely loves it when it's quiet. So, you can say horses are like people. Some people like crowds, some people don't.
Yeah, I remember several years ago, we had a Quaint, our own horse within the FRT Racing Club, and she was exactly the same. At the yard, she was amazing. She was absolutely fantastic. But you get to a race course, and all of a sudden the tannoy and the crowd and the smells of the burger vans and everything like that just distracted her. And she got lost at Beverley once, didn't she?
So I wasn't actually with the company when Quaint was running, so I never actually met her. So
yeah, she took a wrong turning and exited the course. I think she was training in third at the time, coming around from the penultimate bend. I thought, oh, great, she's on a great trajectory here, and then she took a left rather than a right, and it didn't end well. Thinking about kind of again lockdown, we've also got obviously the Brexit border restrictions. What difference does that make? This is a question from David Tolson, asked what impact kind of travel to Cheltenham might make with the longer travel time, particularly for those Irish horses.
I don't think the travel time and that would have been much more than normal. They still have to be loaded on and off ferries and things like that. And most horses that have competed at Cheltenham have probably been over here for a couple of weeks just to get themselves settled and that. So they are travelling far on the day to go to the races.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be massive amount of difference regarding travel.
I suppose also we've all known that this was going to be behind closed doors for some time. We all knew what the border restrictions were going to be. So yards have had plenty of time to plan logistically for this, haven't they?
Oh, definitely. They have. They've had plenty of time to plan the logistics. Might be a little bit different with the Gordon Elliott, Mrs. Denise Foster yard because of what's been going on. But I think all the travel plans would have been arranged long before it all blew up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was probably the most recent spanner in the works of anyone's best laid plans, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There was. It was timed perfectly to totally disrupt their Cheltenham. It's not what happened. Obviously, is despicable. It's been, like I say, it's been hidden away for years, and all of a sudden it's come to the fore right when it can do the most damage.
Yeah.
My opinion actually on what's happened, I believe that O'Neil has got very, very lightly. He hasn't even been warned off going to the course, even though he said he won't go to any courses while he's on his ban. But effectively, even though he got a year's ban, it's deferred. It's 6 months suspended. So after 6 months, he's basically back in the fold again.
Yeah.
And I can't see him distancing himself from the racing. He'll still be getting them reported to by his yard managers and probably Mrs. Foster as well. So he's still going to be heavily involved in the training of these horses.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the football manager getting banned from the stands. Was it Jose Mourinho once hid in a laundry basket when he wasn't allowed in the stadium or something, wasn't he?
Yeah,
they'll still manage from behind the scenes. It's who's pulling the strings. He may not be the face, there on the day, but he's still pulling the strings, isn't he?
Oh yes, obviously the Cheveley Park horses went to other stables. Some went to Henry de Bromhead and some went to Willie Mullins. But they've been trained for this meeting. They've been trained by Gordon Elliott. Yes, the new trainers will put their own stamp on it a little bit, but there's not going to be any massive differences. I don't even think the jockeys are going to change for those horses.
Yeah, exactly. Right, should we start looking at the big race for day one, Keith?
Yeah, we'll start off obviously with the champion hurdle. We have Honeysuckle down as favourite at the moment. Brilliant, unbeaten mare, absolutely fantastic horse she is. But I personally think that she needs rain. At the moment it's calling Cheltenham soft, but things are drying out, and the drier it gets, the more chance it's going to give Epatante, last year's winner. I believe that one of the questions we asked was, is Goshen back? I think Goshen's back to his best, but I'm not convinced that Cheltenham's his course. I know he was unlucky in the Triumph.
Is that because he fell for us last year?
Yeah, he unseated at the last in the Triumph, and he would have won that easily. But I'm not convinced that Cheltenham's his course. I'm not convinced he can live with these two mares, Epatante and Honeysuckle. If I was to lay my neck on the line now, I would be looking towards Epatante because of the way the ground's drying out. The other horse that I think has got an each way shout is back to the Elliott Mrs. Foster team, Abracadabras, which is around about 8-1 at the moment. I think that it'll thrive at the race. It came second to Shiskin last year's Supreme, so it has got form it has got form at the course. But at this moment in time, I might change before morning. So Epatante to win with Abracadabras for the each way horse for the race.
Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned Epatante and Honeysuckle there. Obviously, one of the standout trends we've identified before, only two mares won in the last 12 years. Obviously, one of those was last year's winner, Epatante. No concerns over that particular statistic?
Not really, no. It just proves to prove that when you've got a good mare, it can live with the boys, basically. That actually put me off Epatante last year, and it cost us dear, really. So I need to this year. I do believe that the mares probably are the best two horses in the race.
Yeah.
Honeysuckle says she's still unbeaten. She could be absolutely anything, but I believe she needs it hock deep. And as it's drying out, I think Epatante just gets better and better the further she goes on good going, on good to soft. I mean, Barry Geraghty had a double handful when he won last year. Another horse in that race, which was second to Epatante last year, was Sharjah. That competes again. I don't think he'll turn things round, but I say it's a cracking renewal, and it's very, very. It is one of those horses which I will be waiting until last minute before I actually totally pick a selection. But Epatante and Abracadabras are my two against the field at the moment.
You'll be watching the weather forecast overnight, will you?
Watching the weather forecast right through the day into tomorrow. I'll finalise things in the morning, and whatever's out on that email in the morning is what will be my final selections.
Definitely. Well, I think we've got a couple of each way pointers and say a win bet there. So I think that should be some good pointers for people. Let's move on then to the feature race for Wednesday, which is the Champion Chase. Obviously, last year we were all looking for Altia for this one, weren't we?
Yes, we were looking for Altia last year.
Too old this year?
Sorry?
Is he too old this year?
I think Altia is too old this year. The other horse that we were looking at last year again was this year's favourite, Chacun Porsoy.
Mm-hmm.
Another horse, I believe, needs the soft going. Just hang on a sec. I've got some notes somewhere. There's a lack of Cheltenham experience probably go against Chacun as well. So I actually, if I was to put a lay on for Tomorrow, for Wednesday, I mean, I would go Chacun Porsoy is my lay for Wednesday. Altior, like we've already said, I believe he's too old now at 11, and I can't see him bouncing back in this. Horses that I am looking at, both each way prices at the moment. A Nubra Negra, the Harry Skelton, Dan Skelton horse, which is around about 8-1.
Yep.
And I also like last year's winner, Politilog. Conditions should suit. Yes, I know it was a bit softer last year, but that Cheltenham experience is always worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
In races of this nature.
Definitely. So Chacun Porsoy, you're putting it down as a lay now, because that was your anti-post tip for the Horses Mouth magazine, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was. But after reviewing things and as the way even though he's unbeaten this year, I just think that lack of Cheltenham experience will go against him, and I'm going to put him down as a lay.
Yeah. So what's your win bet on this one again, mate? Sorry, I'm just
I'd say the Nubra Negra, young pretender. I think that he's got a big race in him. He beat Altior in the Desert Orchid at Christmas.
Yep.
I just think that he's got a cracking each way chance at 8-1. I also think that last year's winner, Politilog, if he gets into a rhythm, could be just bounding away in front again.
Again, that was Tingle Creek winner, wasn't he, Politilog?
Yeah, that's right.
That's all right. Any each way value in this one?
Yes, they both each way, Politilog and Nubra Negra.
Okay. What prices? Do you know prices on those at the moment, mate?
Sorry?
Do you know prices on those at the moment, roughly?
8-1 and 10-1 at the moment. I'll just quick. Yeah, 8-1. Both. And yeah, Hills for Politilog at 10-1 and Bet365 for Nubra Negra at 8-1.
Nice one. Right. Are we all happy with the Champion Chase? Want to move on to the next race?
Yeah, we'll move on to the Paddy Power.
Stayers Hurdle.
Yeah, Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. Horse I really liked in this was Time Hill, and it's now non-runner. So we haven't got the final decks for this. There's still 18 runners declared. Paisley Park's going to be very, very popular, I would believe. Wait, he's bound to be very popular. But
yeah, Paisley Park was your tip last year, wasn't he? Just lost a couple of shoes in the run, didn't he?
He lost a couple of shoes in the run last year, and it cost him the race. He is back. He has been running pretty well this year. He won last time out in the long walk. He also, that was his last one. Run was the long walk hurdle, which was 89 days ago now. Just a quick check of something is. He is a worthy favourite yet again, but personally, I think I might be looking for something to go against him. I haven't really gone into the full depth of this race yet because of the 48-hour decks. I can't see there being 18 runners on the day. We're probably looking more like 8 or 9 runners on the day.
Yeah.
So I haven't Roxana, the mare, she may have a bit of a squeak each way, but I'm not going to lay my neck on the line at all. Sire de Burley is another horse that I like. A lot's going to depend on how dry it actually gets. A lot of these horses are soft ground horses. It's going to be drying out. If it dries out enough, Paisley Park will take a lot of catching. So, like I say, I can't commit myself to this race. But I would be looking, if someone's wanting an each way bet now, you could do a lot worse than go for Roxana.
Is everybody non-run no bet at the moment now with these?
No, but it's got past that stage.
Okay.
It's now coming into live market. If you can still find an anti-post market, you might still get non-run no bet. But these are getting towards being live markets. So
you are taking the chance that they may not run.
So
again, just factor that into your price if you are taking.
No, actually, because they are live markets, you will get. If these are non-run, you should get it. You should get and it doesn't run. You should get non-run no bet.
Okay.
But just check with your bookmaker just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, definitely. Now, obviously, in this race last year, we had a bit of an upset, 50-1 shot, wasn't it? Leslie Groska just stunned everyone last year. That wouldn't have been a bad each way show, would it? Was anyone on that? Do you think, other than the owners?
It would have been a cracking each way shout. I don't suppose many people were on it. I haven't dug enough into this race yet to see if it would have actually come up at the moment. But it's nice if you pick a big one like that. But you've got more chance of getting the big price horses in the big handicaps than you are in these championship races.
Yeah, certainly. I think I remember watching this race last year and just seeing. I think the bookies were the only ones cheering when this one crossed the line.
I think there probably would be, like you said, apart from the owners and anybody who actually just picked out by name.
Yeah. Those people like my mum is like, I like the colour or I like the number. If it had been number 7, then my mum would have backed it for sure.
Oh my stepdaughter's like that. The Grand National, especially. I think it's the only race she ever has a bet in. She's lucky as hell in that. Picked out Arthur's Secret the other year just because of the name, because she lived in Arthur's Terrace, things like that. But if it works, it's fine.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you wouldn't want to follow them all the time, though, would you?
No, definitely not.
Cool. Right, shall we look at the big one?
Look at the big one onto the Gold Cup, yeah.
Cool. Here we go. So Albuin Photo aiming to be the first horse since Best Mate to win 3 Gold Cups. What do you think? What do you think the chances are then, Keith?
Well, he's worthy of his favourites tag. And basically, I'm still at the same stage I was on when I updated the website about this a month or so ago. I can say he's well worthy of that favourites tag, but I think he's also there to be shot at. Aplutard isn't at an each way price anymore. Still have an hankering that he will go well in the race. He did finish 3rd in the Ryanair Chase last year, did Aplutard. So yeah, it's another one with Cheltenham experience, which is pretty important. Champ has obviously been laid out for the race as well. It's going to be a fantastic race. Frodon probably gets an early lead. Can't see it lasting out over this longer trip though. Lovely horse, but I'm not convinced that this is the race for him. Let's see what else I've got. I'm not convinced about Santini. I wasn't last year, even though he got to within a neck of Albuin Photo. It's not isn't a horse that I've actually ever particularly liked all that much.
So, he was only a neck behind last time, wasn't he?
I know he's won some big races, some good races in his time. Won the Cotswold, then he came second. Then he came second to Albuin last year. He's out to 12s this year. I don't know. it's one of those races that, like I said, it's I do like a Plutard. Album Photo's no best mate. It had some easy Gold Cups in my opinion. We'll see how it goes, and I'll obviously see how it cuts up as well for the final declarations.
Yeah,
if someone is looking for an each way shot in this, I don't think Froden will hang on, but he could stay on long. He could stay on enough just to get to squeeze a place, second or third.
So that might be one again. Looking at, I know some of the bookies often go an extra place on the Go Cup as well, don't they? So it might be worth, if you're looking at an each way, particularly an each way value bet, placing it with a bookie that does just give you that extra place.
Yeah, you might find that some of the bookies will go down 4 or even 5 places, depending on how many runners are left on the day.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I've noticed, just looking at some of the questions we've had in relating to the Go Cup, is there's so many opinions, aren't there, about I think Dominic O'Hanlon said, yeah, nope, Santini's winning the Go Cup. Nope, we've already said he isn't, haven't we?
Yeah, I don't think Santini will win a Gold Cup.
Dave Taylor, do you think Champ can challenge after having just the one prep race this season at a far inferior distance to the Go Cup? I think Dave's showed us what he thinks about that.
Yeah, well, Champ had that run out at Newbury in February over 2 miles, which isn't his trip at all. He comes second. Say the trip, it was too short that day. He is better over this over 3 miles, as he showed winning the RSA last year. He has also got form on drier ground. A couple of wins at Newbury back end of 2019. So yeah, he's got a shout as Champ.
Yeah. Do you think there's a balancing act to be had here, Keith, with trainers, obviously train horses specifically for this race, but without showing their hand?
Oh, absolutely. It's all about tactics and that. This race has been on the tag. It is the pinnacle of chasing. This is the race they all want to win. But like I say, it's a good renewal this year, and at the moment I could name half a dozen horses, and those half a dozen horses probably would be thereabouts come towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
Like I still like Native River, he's getting a bit old now at 11, but he has run some good races in this at Cheltenham. So
definitely, let's say at the moment, obviously we're Monday evening now. Declarations for Go Cup are going to be out Wednesday morning.
I'll get those probably by about 10 o'clock Wednesday.
Yeah. So again, we don't have all the answers yet. We're reliant on the Met Office telling us what the weather's going to be. How accurate they are, I have no idea. I think we do a better job of predicting things than they do of looking out the window and telling you whether it's raining at the moment.
I mean, they're actually calling it soft at the moment for Cheltenham, but I think it'll be more nearer to good to soft than soft. So it'll be on the good side of soft.
Absolutely. As we've kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, on the website, freeracingtips.co.uk, all of Keith's anti-post tips are on there for every single race. Now, as we've said, many of those, we don't know the declarations yet. There have been some that obviously will change races, some that will be non-runners. What I will say is the anti-post tips that are on the website will not be updated between now and the races. So those were anti-post tips that were on the website. They've been on the website since, let's say, late January when we put the magazine together. So those tips were about getting the early value. We don't obviously have declarations in yet for Thursday and Friday. What we're doing with those anti-post tips is trying to spot that early value, playing that game of spotting early prices, whereas on the day, obviously, it's about finding the winners, not necessarily winner of the races, but winner place value as well, and still at the right prices. And that's a crucial element there, is finding the right prices. We don't know Yeah, obviously who's in form, what the going's going to be, who the final runners and riders are going to be, and what tactics might play out on the day. If you want to get Keith's on the day tips for all 28 races, email to you by 9 o'clock every single morning. You can unlock that now by going to freeracingtips.co.uk/PE2021. That's PE 2021. Just head to that URL and you can unlock all of Keith's tips. So they be emailed to you by 9 o'clock every morning. By the way, quick shout out to my cockapoo Chewy, who's just been barking in the background because someone walked past the house. Welcome to lockdown life, isn't it, Keith?
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. I'm surprised that my dog hasn't appeared.
We've had a few of our team calls and we've all got dogs, and so they're having as many chats as we are, I think, aren't they now?
They all think they're celebrities now.
Definitely. More people know my dog than know me, I think. Right, let's look at some more of the betting markets. And probably the main question we get asked is, Keith, what's your best bet of the festival? And I'm going to put a caveat here and say, can I have two best bets off you? Can I have a win bet, and can I have an each way bet, please?
Right. My actual all the way banker of the festival is in the Mayor's Hurdle for tomorrow. Concertista. I can't see anyone getting anywhere near her.
Mm-hmm.
And
what price is she at the moment?
Sorry?
What price is she?
She's round about even money, 11 to 10 at the moment. Yeah. And an each way, I've got a couple of each ways marked out. I like the look of Pim in the Ultima tomorrow. He's round about 16 to 1. And in the Coral Cup on Wednesday, My Sister Sarah is another one which I think is going to do well at a decent price. I think she's about 16s as well. I haven't actually got those prices in front of me.
Yeah.
Concertista for my win banker, and I'll just stick with Pim. Stick Pim for the each way. If you want a third one, say have a look at My Sister Sarah in the Coral Cup.
Sure, thanks for that. Just looking at the questions, because Paul was asking, what do you look at in terms of the one overarching, or is there one overarching factor or rating that a horse must have to perform well at Cheltenham? Is it, course and distance experience, going form, particular trainer, handicap experience, field size? Yeah, what I'm guessing there's a lot of boxes that could be ticked, but are there any that absolutely have to be there?
It's maybe not so much in the novice hurdles and that, but as you get through into the other races, previous Cheltenham form, especially festival form, it's omnipotent. It's very, very important, that festival form. So, like I say, any horses that have run at Cheltenham in the past tend to perform well at the festival. It's one of the things that I go to. When I was narrowing down the Ultima, which I've mentioned, and Pim as an each way shot, there's only actually two horses in that race which have got Cheltenham form, and that's I Right, which is round about 13 to 2, and Pim at 16s. Every horse that has won that race in the last 12 years has had Cheltenham form.
Mm. Yeah, it's the reason we all look to course and distance, but I guess, like you say, festival form is course and distance on steroids, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It doesn't. It's not so much the distance; it's the course more than anything. I find with jumps racing, course and going tend to be more important than course and distance.
Yeah.
Well, when next time we do one of the recordings, probably for Royal Ascot, I'll be saying that distance is important as well as the going.
Yeah.
And not so much the course. So it's swings and roundabouts, different codes, different things come into play.
Yeah. So much is said about that hill at Cheltenham. I've walked that hill, and I can certainly vouch for the fact that it is steep, it's long, it's never ending. And I won't have galloped for 2 3/4 miles before I've got there. So in the sludge and drudgery of the rain that's there now. So
yeah, the thing with that hill, you find that horses that actually stay further from the race they're actually in do better when the going gets soft to heavy, because they need the stamina to get up that hill. So in your 2-mile races, you're looking at 2.5-mile horses to get up that hill. Another thing that is important for Cheltenham is that the horse can actually go left-handed. If a horse doesn't perform well on left-handed courses, it might as well not bother going to Cheltenham in the first place.
Yeah, it makes sense if you think about it. If you were to lift up a 20-kilogram weight and then lift up a 10-kilogram weight, that 10-kilogram weight is going to feel so light because it's the perspective. So actually, if horses are trained to run further than the distance, they are still going to have gas in the tank.
They are in the desperate conditions, because it is stamina sapping.
Yeah.
But obviously, the more it dries out, the more the speed horses actually come into play. So you probably find horses running. If it's drying out as I'm expecting it to, you probably find horses 2-milers winning 2-mile races rather than 2.5-mile horses winning the 2-mile races.
I remember many years ago, I think this must have been 2013 possibly. I went to Cheltenham and I saw that was the obviously Coat of Star Denman sort of era. And I remember seeing Paul Nicholls really bigging up Long Run, saying, "Oh my God, it was raining. It was really like quite torrential rain this day." And I remember Paul Nicholls saying, "If this rain keeps on coming down, this suits Long Run to the." He loves the rain. He can get up that hill, no worries. And he couldn't get up that hill. It literally sapped his stamina. It was like, and there was a horse that was renowned for his stamina. Obviously, he was getting a little bit old in the tooth at that time. But it just showed that actually, where you think, yeah, this horse has got the stamina, no, it hasn't. It really does take it out of you. Right, shall we move on from our best bet of the festival to our lay of the festival? You mentioned a couple of lay bets already.
I mentioned Jacqueline Poisson. I just think that he's not right for Cheltenham somehow. There's something about him. I just don't think he's going to win that champion chase. I could be totally wrong and have egg on my face after the race, but I'd rather be looking at something more value. So champion chase, Jacqueline Poisson is my lay of the festival.
Okay, what price is he at the moment?
He's around about slightly odds on, I believe. Have I got anything written down? Even money I've got written down on that pad.
So if someone had taken your anti-post tip at 6-1 when it was in the magazine, they could now lay that off at evens, and they're cheering no matter what happens in that race, aren't they?
Yeah, to lay if they can lay it off at evens after backing it at 6s, they've actually made money on the race.
Absolutely.
6-1 is probably a value horse, because it will run its race, despite me not thinking it's suited for Cheltenham. It will run. He will run his race. And he probably will get at least placed. He could even win, like I say. I could end up with egg on my face after the race, but that 6-1 was value.
Yeah,
even money isn't.
Definitely, and I think this is what we opened with. Is it's not necessarily about just finding the winners; it's about finding the value. And yeah, if you are able to get an anti-post bet on at 6-1 and then lay it a couple of days before at even money, you've made yourself a profit regardless of who wins, and that's where the value is to be found. Cool. By the way, if you're not familiar with laying, obviously that is the betting for the horse not to win, usually using Betfair or some of the exchanges there. We don't have a laying service at FLT or anything like that, but obviously for festivals, it's always an interest to look at, there's a lot of nailed on horses that don't perform and things go wrong on the day, don't they? We've, trust me, I've mentioned this many, many times before, but Q Card would have won the Go Cup had he not fallen 3 from home.
I totally agree, and same as Goshen would have won the Triumph last year.
Yeah.
If the jockey hadn't jumped off just after the last, but these things happen, and that's horse racing for you. But you mentioned Betfair there for Lane. Bet365 actually you can actually back not to win. You can even back not to place on Bet365. You just need to go to Bet365 and go to the more markets tab. It isn't always available till after about 8 o'clock on the morning of the race. But rather than going, if you don't want to use the exchange or open a Betfair account, nip across to your Bet365 account, click on the more markets, click on not to win, and you will get a market, which is basically a lay market.
Does that tend to be competitive with the pricing compared to the exchanges, or do they chuck a cheeky margin in there?
I actually find it on a normal day's racing to be better than the exchanges early on, but on a strong market like Cheltenham, you probably will find better prices on the exchange.
Yeah. Cool. Top jockey, who's going to win that trophy this year?
The top jockey, obviously, everyone will be shouting Townend because of the might of Mullins behind him. But I have an inkling that Mark Walsh is going to have a good festival.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be on all since Barry Geraghty retired. He's going to pick up a fair proportion of the JP McManus runners. I've just noticed he's not on Champ. I've actually got that race open in front of me, and Lincoln de Boinville getting the ride on Champ. But Mark Walsh could have a really, really good festival. Townend's obviously going to be there competing. But I would say it's probably between those two for champion jockey.
Is there value for an each way with Walsh? Do you think, or was there price not there?
I don't have to do any each way markets on the champion jockey.
Okay. That puts my cheeky value bet to bed there, then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's look for. Well, this is certainly the last many years, as long as I can remember. This is nailed on. Is it Mullins again?
I think Mullins again this year. With what's been going on with Elliott and some of the horses going to Henry de Bromhead and others to Mullins. I think Mullins has probably got it in the bag. Henderson horses haven't been running as well as they could have been. Yes, they're probably trained for the minute and they will perform on the day. And Henderson will be thereabouts, but I think that Mullins will actually wrap it up again.
Yeah. Again, you talk about festival form. I mean, no one's got that better than Willie Mullins, have they?
Not at all. Nobody better. If you just need to look at the piece I did for the magazine about festival favourites and that, he's just so far ahead of everybody else.
Definitely. Looking at questions, we've got a few relating to trainers. Lots of talk, obviously, about the Elliott stable. David Palmer asked about the Elliott stable. Do you think that if those horses are entered, with the other horses from the stable they've gone to, do you think the Elliott horses will get a fair run?
Yes, I do. Those horses are trained to the minute. The horses running at the festival will be running to their merits. They won't be running to team orders and that.
Yeah,
I think they'll get absolutely fair run. Even the ones that have moved to other trainers. In fact, quite a lot of the ones that have moved to other trainers are top horses anyway, and they actually have been aimed at those races for quite a long time.
And I guess, again, the trainers are incentivized to win the prize money, aren't they? So ultimately, they're going to find the best horse that gives them the best chance of actually securing that prize money.
This is absolutely true, John. And a meeting like that, it's a big showcase. You don't get too much tactics at Cheltenham. Yes, you get it gets a little bit tactical at times, but during the running of the race. But when it comes to the nitty gritty, it's the best horse that tends to come out and win that race.
Yeah, definitely. And ultimately, if the trainers give Elliott's horses a good run, and the owners may decide to stick with their temporary trainer beyond the next 6 to 12 months.
There's a chance that she will. It's going to increase her profile anyway. She's going to do all right. Is Mrs. Foster, like Ryanair, the Gigginstown horses owned by Ryanair. They're going to stay with Elliott through thick and thin. He's already laid his cards on the table. Michael O'Grady. He's going to stick with Gordon Elliott through thick and thin. But
Yeah, he's not shy in saying what he means, is he?
But he is actually scaling back his operation anyway. So in time, they'll slowly fade away.
Totally. Last one on trainers. James Clement says, Nicky Henderson has had a quiet season so far by his standards. Do you think he is saving his horses for an assault on the festival? It's normally the Irish Raiders we talk about, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess like I just mentioned, Henderson's horses haven't been running as well as they could have been running, but they are trained for this meeting. They'll be doing their best on the day. Like I said, in the Gold Cup, Champ will be up there competing with the best of them. Yes, I think that it could well be a decent meeting for Henderson. I think he'll come second to Mullins in the Trainers' Championship, personally.
Good, thank you. Right. Let's look at lucky 15s. We've had quite a few questions, people asking about lucky 15s. Now, obviously, our daily lucky 15 is, well, no doubt about it, it is our most popular service here at FRT. It's certainly the most fun, the most exciting service we do. It's not for the faint-hearted, though. It's a proper, what I would call a roller coaster of emotions. Obviously, you're cheering home 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4 horses. In the last few weeks, we've seen returns some days of 89 points, 63 points, 112 points, 103 points, whilst other days it has been a total wipeout. I think last week we struggled to get all 4 horses running every day thanks to that wonderful Great British weather that we talked about. In January, the Lucky 15 service lost 109 points. And in February, it made 245 points. So that really emphasizes that roller coaster nature of the Lucky 15. And that is why it's so much fun. Obviously, many of you guys already follow the free Lucky 15 tip that Keith puts out every single Saturday. Many of you have asked whether we put together kind of a Cheltenham Lucky 15. I mean, Keith, would you look at maybe the 4 feature races and say, actually, let's put some of these into a Lucky 15? Not necessarily, I know we've talked about value and identifying the right prices, but just from a fun excitement point of view, would you put together perhaps 4 horses and chuck them in a Lucky 15 to keep some excitement going throughout the week?
Yeah, I'll put together a Lucky 15 which we can get sent out. I'll dig deep and we'll put out a festival wide or a week wide Lucky 15, 1 horse each day. Obviously, at this stage, I can't guarantee that the ones later in the week are going to run at the moment. That's the only problem.
Exactly. We'll leave it as late as possible tomorrow then, because by then we should have decks for Thursday by then, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Well, I'll get that out by lunchtime tomorrow. I'll have a Lucky 15 for the week.
Perfect. That'll be really good. I know it's always of interest, and I know it's just one of those things that people like to have because it creates. It's like every football season I put on a season-long ACCA. It's never won. It never comes even close to winning, but it does provide me with a little bit of excitement throughout the year. That says one day Plymouth Argyle will win their respective league. Just a quick question on this, because I know a few people have asked about Lucky 15s. Tony Atkinson, I know what your answer to this is going to be, Keith, but I'll ask you the question anyway. Tony says, I have around 5 or 6 strong fancies next week, and he's done various doubles and trebles on enhanced. That was a little bit Sean Connery, wasn't it? Enhanced specials. What's Keith's staking plan when he has several fancies, for example, doubles, trebles, ACCAs, Lucky 15s, and Lucky 31s? I know what your answer to this is going to be, Keith, but I'm looking forward to hearing it.
The answer you're expecting me to say is that I don't particularly like multiple bets, which is true.
Yep.
But if you have all these fancies, I don't mind. I wouldn't put anyone off a fun bet. If you've got 5 horses, put them in a £1 Lucky 31. Go for it. You might get lucky. You might get a decent return. it's just and I do succumb myself. So on a Saturday, I will look at the ITV races, and I will put myself a 10p multiple on the lot. You never know, you might just hit that £1 million.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's it. It is, when it comes to a staking plan for lucky 31s, etc., Goliaths, Heinz 57s, we're looking at beer tokens. I think we're looking at just have a little fun with it, a little bit of fun.
Keep the stakes low and that sort of thing. Lucky 15, I rarely go higher than £1 stake. So 15 quid for the lucky 15.
Yeah,
it's not a bet that I believe is one that's going to make you bank that on spot. Yes, you might get lucky now and again, and maybe you might pull out a couple of might every now and again pull out a couple of thousand if you're really lucky. But you're going to put as much on, use it. So the higher your stakes go, you think you could be £900 down before you get that £1,000 back. You know what I mean?
Exactly. From a
kind of £10 lucky 15, you could be £9,000 down before you get that £10,000 back.
Exactly, and that is the roller coaster nature of that lucky 15. It's 1 minute you're down in the doldrums, and the next you're soaring high, and then you're back in the doldrums again.
I wouldn't ever put anybody off them doing the multiple, but keep your stakes low.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a fun bet, and I'm saying that's why I think the lucky 15 is the most popular service we've got, is because it is just so much fun. And if you remember to treat it as that, it's not a magical money-making scheme. It is a really good, exciting, fun bet, and it just makes actually watching world-class racing so much more fun and more exciting as well. One thing to remember with doubles, trebles, quadruples, accas, anything like that, from a mathematical probability point of view, every leg you add to an accumulator increases the risk exponentially that your bet is going to lose. Obviously, if you've got a lucky 15 or lucky 31, you've got a multi-cover bet, so actually you're not exponentially increasing the risk. But with a flat-out ACCA, the minute you go from a single to a double, you've increased your odds of your entire bet failing. And the minute you go from a double to a treble, you increase it exponentially. And obviously, the more legs you add to your ACCA, the worse that gets. Obviously, don't get me wrong, the odds compound on each other as well, and so that grows exponentially. But it is all ACCAs. Once you go beyond a single bet, you're looking at greater risk and greater return. And it's playing to your own strengths, your own strategy, your own attitude to risk, really.
That's correct, John. But like I say, I would rather go full cover with the lucky 15 than do a 4-horse accumulator, because, like you said, you only need one leg to go down on a 4-horse accumulator, and it's over with. At least with lucky 15, you've still got another 3 horses.
Exactly, you're still in the play, aren't you? If we've got the lucky 15 for you for the whole week, and the first 2 horses lose, you're still in the game, and you can still do very well with it, and you can still have some excitement. But if you've got a lucky 15 and those first 2 horses win, oh my God, you are getting rather excited about race number 3 and day number 3, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. I'll be looking at putting out by lunchtime tomorrow. I'll be looking at putting out a lucky 15 for the week. That will actually be going out to VIP members. So that will be on the website under the VIP section for the week.
Absolutely. So we're going to be sending out Keith's tips on the day for all 28 races. Remember, you only get this if you are a Cheltenham or a VIP or an above member. So VIP and Inner Circle will get this as well. You can unlock the Cheltenham tips. So that is just the tips for all 28 races sent to you by 9 o'clock every morning. And that's £20. And again, the website there is freeracingtips.co.uk/PE 2021. That you can unlock that for just £20. Or if you become a VIP member, a member of Keith's VIP club, you will get all 28 Cheltenham tips in the morning. You'll also get Keith's daily premium tip. That's Keith's best bet of the day every single day, not just throughout Cheltenham, but every single day. You'll get Keith's ITV racing tips every single weekend, and you'll also get his tips for the Aintree Festival next month, which of course includes the Grand National, which is the biggest lottery of them all. You'll also get an exclusive FRT pin badge as well. And the VIP membership starts from just £13 a month. So it's a little bit of a no-brainer. You can either have just the Cheltenham tips for £20, or for £13 a month, you can have the Cheltenham tips and the premium tip, ITV racing tips, Aintree Festival tips, Grand National tips, and an FRT pin badge. There's got to be a cuddly toy in there somewhere, hasn't there, Keith?
Oh yeah, cuddly. We definitely need a cuddly toy as well. We'll have to sort one out for next year, John. An FRT cuddly toy.
Fantastic. The other thing we will add into the mix, not a cuddly toy, but if you do join before midday tomorrow, we'll also add in a free bonus daily Lucky 15. Obviously, Keith's going to send out his festival-wide Lucky 15 tomorrow morning. But if you unlock the Cheltenham tips or become a VIP member before midday tomorrow, you'll also get a daily Lucky 15 every single day of the festival. So Tuesday through to Friday, you'll get a free daily Lucky 15. Now, I should point out there, if you are an existing VIP member, you're an existing Inner Circle member, you'll automatically get this. You don't need to sign up again.
Also, existing Lucky 15 members are also getting that already. So
absolutely. Yeah, obviously, I'd say a lot of you guys are already Lucky 15 members. So again, don't worry, you're going to get that every single day. We'll also make sure Lucky 15 members get the week festival-wide Lucky 15 as well. So yeah, just remember to head to freeracingtips.co.uk/PE 2021 before, I'm just checking that, 12 p.m. Yeah, 12 p.m. is midday, before midday tomorrow. Obviously, if you do unlock the tips after midday tomorrow, you will still get all of Keith's tips. You still unlock all the Cheltenham tips, but you won't get that bonus Lucky 15. So all that remains for us to do is to make sure that we are Cheltenham ready. So have we unlocked Keith's tips? Don't forget, £20 buys you all 28 tips, or £13 a month gets you all the Cheltenham tips, daily premium tip, ITV racing tips every weekend, tips for the Aintree Festival and the Grand National, and a pin badge. And of course, if you unlock them before midday tomorrow, you'll get that bonus Lucky 15 as well. Don't forget to check out the bookie offers. Now, we've mentioned a few times, getting extra places. We're going to keep the website updated, so freeracingtips.co.uk, and in the menu you'll see there's a button there that just says Cheltenham Festival. We're going to keep that page updated every day with all the latest offers from the bookies. Now, there's usually some pretty worthwhile offers in there. There's normally enhanced odds on some of the most popular horses, particularly in the feature races. So if you've made notes around the feature races tonight and you're thinking, okay, I'm liking the look of this one, well, why would you take 6-1 if there's a bookie that will offer you 25-1? Often there's extra places, money back if your horse finishes second, loads more offers. Have a look at the website, freeracingtips.co.uk. And as I say, there's a Cheltenham button on the menu there. We'll keep that updated every single day with all the latest offers. So just have a look there if there's something of interest. I've written here cans of Guinness chilling. Now, I don't know about you, because I'm actually a non-drinker now, but I was quite looking forward to Guinness 0.0. And I really thought Cheltenham Festival this year, I'm going to crack open a couple of cans of Guinness 0.0 and enjoy the festival. But they recalled it. It was poisoning people, apparently.
That's the trouble with the 0% alcohols. They don't know what the hell they put in.
Yeah, the worst thing is they didn't tell you what was in it. They just recalled it and said, "Oh yeah, it's kind of poisoning people. We need to recall it." Well, what have I been drinking all this time? What's your tipple of choice going to be for the festival, Keith?
While the racing is actually on, I don't drink when I'm racing, but if things are going well, maybe crack open a can of Magners later on, or have a glass of brandy. And if things go really well, you never know, we might see if we can get a bottle of Premier Cru opened up by Friday.
Wow, there we go. That's the plan then. That's the plan, definitely. So there's a scale there of escalation. So was it Magners, brandy? What was the last one?
A nice little bottle of champagne.
Bottle of champagne, right? Okay, we are going to be popping some corks.
Yeah.
By Friday, I think.
Cork popping. It's going to be a good Cheltenham, this one.
Absolutely. I think you said before we started recording, you just got a feeling it's going to be our best one yet, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's just I just have that feeling.
Fantastic. Final point on this I have to make is do make sure you commandeer the telly, because with more people working from home with lockdown, you may find you need to actually reserve the TV for the week. I'm guessing that's not a problem for you though, Keith, is it? You've got that covered, haven't you?
I've got that covered completely, yes.
Yeah. People boring have said, sorry, Keith, you're not allowed to watch the racing.
Yeah. I've even managed to cancel a scheduled meeting this Wednesday because it gets in the way.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, all that remains for us to say is don't forget, guys, to have fun this week. You are going to be watching some of the very best horses in the world going head to head on one of the most famous courses. So, yeah, thank you to everyone who submitted questions. Say apologies, we haven't managed to get to every single question, but I think we've got through quite a few of them now. Thank you most of all, of course, to Keith, and good luck this week, mate. I hope we do as well as you're anticipating we will do.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. It's been nice talking to you, and I say we are going to get among the winners this week. Let's hope we get among enough winners.
Definitely, come on. And one thing we are all going to miss this week, and perhaps we'll do a virtual one, is that Cheltenham Roar. So 1:30 tomorrow, just in your own, I don't know, wherever you are, in your living room, in your office, with your headphones on. Let's give it a good Cheltenham Roar, shall we?
That's right. Yeah, you need to give it the roar. Let's make sure that everyone hears it.
Absolutely. And let's make sure your neighbours think, what on earth is going on in there? Fantastic. Have a great Cheltenham, everybody, and we'll see you all on the other side when we are popping the champagne corks.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.